All right, day number 3 of assembly. Dan and I are down at the shop. We're going to get onto this guy. Got the bottom end as you saw in the last video. Now we're going to start putting things together like the cam gear, cam cover, maybe harmonic balancer, that sort of thing. And then start working our way up with lifters and push rods and putting on the heads and setting rockers. So we'll see you on the other side. In order to torque spec or get this up to torque, I engage this gear like this, folks, and Dan just torqued it down. We did all 3 bolts. All right, let's get this greased up. The biggest concerns expressed to me has been that when you do a engine rebuild, the biggest problem that they have is with something going awry between the cam and the lifters. And so I'm going to put not only some STP in this motor before we go to fire it up, and we will also pre-lubricate the motor by running this. Can you grab that distributor, that dummy distributor, Dan? We'll run this dummy distributor. Yeah, bring it over here and show it to the camera, to the folks. We're going to run this dummy distributor down in there, and that's going to engage the oil pump and get oil all up through the motor before we fire it up. And then again, it'll have some STP in it, which is nice and thick as well. But I'm putting, just for extra measure, on some grease on all the lobes so that they're well lubricated. And I'm going to try to keep that off the bearings because I want the bearings to be clear with a much lighter, because there's an oil port on there, if you remember from that diagram. I'll try to put that diagram in on the film about here. But I want these guys clean so that we get good oil flow through those ports. I don't want them getting gummed up with grease like the cam lobes. And we put the gear on so I can get some torque when holding this gear up. You need to be extra careful to engage the bearing surfaces in there so that it doesn't mess up those bearings in here. You see the bearings are sitting in line there, and they're 2-spec, and they're nice and tight like that. And see, as you get in between each of those, you hold that right there at the cam, and that'll get you pretty doggone close on the next one to go in. So when you get to that last one, it's all incumbent upon you to hold that whole, all that moment arm out there is way out there, and you got to hold it out like this and try to get it in line to get the last one set. So here goes. That went real nice. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to line up these dots to where they face each other. There's a dot on the crankshaft gear, and there is a dot on one of the gear lobes right there. Is where it's at. So you want those guys facing each other when you go to engage the chain. So I'm going to have to take those bolts back out. Dadgummit, didn't need to go up to spec anyway in order to get the chain on. How else will I get the chain on? Dummy me. So I guess we need to take that cam gear off in order to get the cam gear or chain on. So we got to take these bolts off in order to get the timing chain on. There's the mark right there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but there is a mark there. There's a dimple there, and that's what we're looking for. And we want to match that up with the cam gear and hang this chain on there. Sorry folks, I'm having trouble seeing where our dimples at? All right, there it is. We had several chains and cam gears to look at, and we chose what we think was the best fit. I think this chain and that cog cam gear are what came out of the motor. And again, the motor was a rebuild or a remanufacture, so it looks like they put an oversized chain in it. We weren't happy with the cog chain combination here. It was just too loose. So you'll see us try several. And we're going to try this other gear, see if that helps tighten this chain up. Otherwise, we're either going to have to get a new chain or we're going to have to do something different because this is way too much slop for this motor. Let's see if we get a better, tighter fit with this combination. All right, folks, we're going to try this other chain. That's no good, folks. It is absolutely no good. We have a couple of other combinations to try, but unfortunately, I will have to pull that crankshaft gear off, which I think we've got a puller to do so. All right, so we've tried both this chain and that chain and both sprockets in all combinations. You know, we still got way too much. That's going to jump a thing and be out of time and mess this motor up. We've got a couple of other combinations. We're going to give it a try. Go ahead and pull it out, buddy. Well, Dan's finishing up on that, folks, so I'm going to show you this chain up close. All of them had way too much slop in here. Now, this one's not perfect, but that's going to be just fine for what we need on this one. Oops, I'm sorry. Bad camera work. But see, that slack right there is acceptable, at least for, you know, a lightly powered, simple, you know, straight up 283 Chevy, which is now a 292 by 60,000 silver. But that chain there will work. Looking at the different seals, one's got a flat edge to it, the other's got a round edge to it. And if you look at the oil pan below there, I'll bring you in nice and close. It's got a rounded edge the other way, so you don't want round edge to round edge. We're gonna put a flat seal on that. Yes, if you wouldn't mind. Oops, sorry, folks. We're ultra coordinated tonight, aren't we? There's a harmonic balancer on the 36 Ford that I'm building. Now we're going to go take a look at the 283 across the way. Just trying to figure out whether we want to put a larger or smaller harmonic balancer on a 283. So far it looks like small ones. Let's see what the other truck can. All right. Push down. There you go. And that has a smaller one as well. I can feel it. All right, folks, we're going to put the smaller one on this guy here. So bigger ones are, I guess, for bigger motors, bigger, smaller blocks. Woohoo! You know what? I don't have a pointer on here. How am I going to time my motor without a timing pointer? So if I'm reading that right, there's 50 inch-pounds. That mark there would be 75. Let's see what this looks like.
Right. How's that seal down there look to you? Does that look like that's gonna work out all right, bud? You want me to put the flex plate on the back here and try to use it to counter, or you getting close? Ah, good. Whew. Alrighty.
So we went ahead and hung the heads, and you'll see Dan and I work together basically as a team. He'll run the torque wrench while I just snug the bolts up with a quick wrench. And there is a sequence to doing this, and you'll see him follow it, and I'll put a diagram in here so you can see what it's all about. And then he torqued it up to about 50%, which I think we put these in at 80 foot-pounds. There's 17 bolts of 3 varying lengths. There's 8 sharp ones that go on the outside. There's 7 that surround the middle part of the cylinders, and then there's 2 medium-sized bolts on each end, so there's 17 per side. And basically it just radiates out from the center of the head and works its way out basically in a circular pattern. And again, I'll put a diagram in here so you can see what that sequence actually looks like.
All right, folks, looks like we got what we can get done for tonight. We got the cam in, got the timing gear all put together, cam cover on, and the harmonic balancer on, and we went ahead and mounted both heads. I guess next time it'll be getting into the valve, all the valve pieces with the lifters, push rods and rockers, and we'll go through something I learned from Derek Beery over at Vice Grip Garage. Heck of a nice guy, great channel, check him out. Dan, thanks buddy. We'll see y'all later. Thanks again for watching, folks. We'll see you. Bye now.